In partnership with Singing Hills Memorial Park, welcome to Journey Home Radio, discussing the most important topics around life's most sacred goodbye. This is Journey Home Radio.
Thank you for tuning in to Journey Home Radio. This is Tessa from Singing Hills Memorial Park.
And Yvette.
And we welcome our listeners. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, you can call us at 619-444-3000 or visit us at singinghillsmemorialpark.com or even our YouTube at Journey Home Radio Singing Hills Memorial Park.
Yes, today we will make you uncomfortable. Honestly, today might even hurt a little bit.
Yes.
But it's okay. The more we talk about these future plans, the more I feel like you as a listener will be empowered to keep talking about it, but not feel so uncomfortable. Last week, you had the pleasure of Iris and Cody talking about the millennials' perspective of, making these plans for their parents these days. Today's topic is do better. Do better for your kids. We all need to do better.
Yes, and every parent says they will do anything for their kids. We sacrifice our sleep, we balance work and home and all the chores in between. And sure, we want to have a better life for them, but at the end of the day, we will do anything to protect our kids, but what will happen when, we're gone?
Exactly. I mean, are we doing everything we can to protect our kids? Even after we're gone, the hard truth is that we're not doing enough. I'm going to share with you, Tessa and our listeners, a story about a family that came in. They had lost their mom. Their mom was divorced. Dad was not in the picture. And they came in and they needed full arrangements, funeral plans, cemetery. They're there to make everything happen all at once. And I'm going to say that it was sad because the oldest was only 22. The youngest was 7, and there was a 13-year-old. And this 22-year-old took the burden of trying to get all of this done. They didn't have a lot of connections with other family members, so they had a friend, and that was helpful. But, the financial strain was the hardest part. And even though they had all these lovely memories, they had this stress about funeral plans, financial decisions. The children started to argue. They were stressed. It just was really depressing to see because at the end of the day, the mom said she didn't want to be a burden. And then look what happened.
Right.
And then you can picture the opposite. I have another family that comes in and they actually lost both parents. They're there to make the plans for their parents as far as the celebration of life and what we're going to do. But this family had their wishes written down. They handled the financial side. The kids were able to focus entirely on celebrating their parents' lives instead of having to make all the decisions and financially. So, I mean, amongst the chaos, which family do we want to be?
Exactly. And, with the first family you were talking about, we see a lot of stress and families fighting.
Yes.
And then with the second family you were talking about, they come in and you could just feel their energy. They're a lot less stressed. They're not fighting. They're not fighting over money because mom and dad had already put everything down.
Yeah,
all their wishes.
All their wishes. And in that case, it just makes it much more relaxed. They just have to pick the dates and decide what they want to have at that celebration. So I think it makes a huge difference. On that topic, what is the youngest person that you've had that had to make arrangements for parents?
I want to say he was 25.
Okay.
and dad had passed away. Mom and dad had divorced, so he was left arranging everything. Don't know where mom was in the picture, and he didn't have any money. He wasn't married. He was a single 25-year-old. So he started a GoFundMe.
I hear that a lot,
Yeah.
and it's heartbreaking to see that somebody has to do a GoFundMe in order to lay their parents to rest. I know we're a community, and I know that people genuinely are kind and want to help, but that had to have been hard. Did it turn out okay for him?
It actually did. It did, and they had enough money to pay for the memorial too. It definitely gave him a peace of mind. I know he didn't want to have it done that way, but it was a blessing. Yeah.
You know, we call families on this topic. I guess you can call it cold calling. You know, we call people who have linked to our website or wanted information, and I'm always so surprised at some of the responses we get from people. I'm going to share a story with a guy I recently called because he had no plans, but his parents had. So when I called him and asked him if he'd like to have a conversation and come in and get a copy of our legacy planner so that he knew where to start when he's ready to have that conversation, and he responded with, "I'm not sick. I'm not planning on dying anytime soon. I don't plan to be there, you know, in the near future."
We hear that a lot.
Yeah, and I finally just said, "You know what, sir? I have a cemetery full of people who thought the exact same thing. I mean, tomorrow's not promised to any of us. It's never too early to have these conversations." I also noticed that in doing this for a living, that I made my plans and I started some of them, and it was just because I had been through this situation. Have you started a pre-plan?
I actually have. I've done the funeral side, and I've also done the cemetery side. And I'm working on getting my trust together. Yes. And so I think it's important because at the end of the day, I want my kids to have a peace of mind and not to worry about, well, what do we do now?
Yeah.
You know, and the stress with that. How about you, Yvette? I know you said.
I have started to make my plans, yes. And right now I'm paying on cemetery property. And I thought by now I would have already paid the funeral, but I bought a cemetery property, and then we lost a very close family member to breast cancer. And so I ended up giving that space up to them. And then I bought another one. Then I lost my father-in-law, and we ended up putting him in that space. And then I bought a third one. And that's when I finally just kind of said to the family, like, enough's enough. Like, I can only cover so much. I mean, not to mention that this isn't even to do with funeral plans. This was just cemetery property.
Right.
When it came to the funeral plans, too, I mean, at least we knew what they wanted, but even in my close family, knowing what I do for a living, they're still unwilling to like really talk about it or make a plan. It's not the funnest thing to spend your money on. I totally get it.
Right, right.
I mean, I would rather, you know, but if you're going to blow money on dinner once, twice a week with the entire family, why not skip one of those meals and have that $50 go towards your cemetery funeral?
Exactly.
You know, like that what's more important? What are we going to do for our kids?
Right. And it's just, before I came into the industry, I had no idea that you can finance your end of life, you know, your cemetery and your funeral pre-planning like a car.
Right. You told me a story just yesterday about this. You had a family. Tell us a little bit about that.
So the husband and wife came in. They're older, they're retirement age, and I gave them a tour. And then halfway through meeting with them, they said, well, we have life insurance. And I said, well, what is important to you? Do you, want to have everything lined up for your family and written out of your wishes? Or do you want them at the time of need to use the life insurance and they have no idea how to apply?
Right. No, we're not
life
financial experts by any means. That's not our expertise. But when it comes to life insurance, like, how do you feel about it? What's your first thought?
I feel like if you have life insurance and you're not going to pre-plan, I feel like it's a cop-out.
Yeah.
Because you have the money there, but how does your family know if you want to have a casket burial or cremation? Where do you want to be laid to rest? These are the questions that we ask when we meet with a family at the time of death. But if you have a life insurance plan and you don't have everything written out in a legacy planner, your family doesn't know.
Yeah. Well, not only that, too, but life insurance needs a death certificate.
It does.
In order to fund that funeral. So if you are wanting to make plans for your loved one immediately, that's already out the door, because now we got to file a claim and wait for the insurance to pay you out. So I understand what you mean by a cop-out, because honestly, I feel like life insurance, for me, this is my opinion, should go to supporting my family without my income. And there are other things that families have to do when they lost a parent, especially if it's the only parent. Closing their estate, closing their accounts, cleaning out the house, moving stuff. There's so many costs that people don't think about. That's what I want my life insurance to go to. And then you can pre-plan the funeral in the cemetery, like you said.
You can. And what they did was actually they did end up pre-planning with me, both sides, the funeral and the cemetery. And if there's a balance still and one of them has passed away, you can still use your life insurance and apply that and pay the difference. And that's what they were concerned. They didn't want to have their children to pay any balance.
Absolutely. Listeners, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about doing better for your kids. Make those plans ahead of time. It's how important it is. You had also talked about in the legacy planner. Let's go over what that is. We keep referring to this legacy planner, and I just want everyone to know, at any point, this is a complimentary gift that we've created that we will give to you. And I know you like to use it a lot, and I use it a lot, but go over what your favorite you were discussing with me earlier.
Yes, so it is a planner, and when you're planning a funeral, there's about 150 questions that are asked in order to plan one.
Yes.
And in the beginning of the book, it has questions that we ask to fill out for a death certificate. And not a lot of families know what is their parents' maiden names, what is the year that they were born.
Well, I know my mom's maiden name, but I always forget my grandma's maiden name, and that's the one that goes on there.
Right.
And where they were born. Like, I didn't know what city in Greece that my grandmother was actually born in.
Right.
So you can, there's a page for that.
And yes. And for me, my parents are from the Philippines, so I need to know what cities.
Tell me a little bit about the section that says "My Story." What do you use there?
So this is more for your obituary, and you can list, achievements you've had in your lifetime, and then it
like
talks,
letting them know what you're proud of in your history of what you've done in life, kind of thing.
Sure, the schools that you've been to, the children that you have, and also if you were in the military, There's a part in the legacy planner that you can fill out. Your branch of service, your military awards.
Yes.
That's important too. And then on another page, it's all about just a funeral home, where you're going to have your viewing, if that's what you want, what you want to wear in your viewing, music that you want during your service, scriptures, what kind of food you want to serve your family, even the kind of jewelry that you want to wear.
So this guide is a step-by-step process of the things that you need to put in order, and really it's about filling it out, and then that will paint the picture of essentially what you want to have.
Yes.
And I think that's great. So I think San Diegans need to know that, they can call Singing Hills at any point to get one of these, and it's complimentary, no cost. But what a great way to start. What a great way to do better for your kids, to at least jot down what you expect or what you would like, so that they don't feel that pressure, especially if they hadn't even had a conversation yet.
Exactly.
Some don't even know if their parents want cremation or burial.
Right. They don't. And some people even want to donate, their body to science or organs. And there's a place in the legacy planner you can write all that. Also a section for accounts and passwords and social media, because today that's important.
Yes. I couldn't get into my father-in-law's, or my father, excuse me. My mom couldn't get into his accounts for billing because the password had been updated and she didn't know what it was. Like, I remember that being a tough thing. We also have this face recognition now on our phones. So if you don't have the code, you can't get into the person's phone to know who to contact at work. Or, these are things that you can keep in there and write in the back in the notes section of that planner.
Yes.
I love it.
And it really is a gift to your family. It just gives us so much, I can't think of the word, peace of mind when a family walks in and they say that their parent has passed away and they have the legacy planner in their hand, and it's such a smooth transition.
When they come in with that and just hand it to you, don't you feel like a proud parent
Yeah.
yourself? Our clients are our children, and we're trying to educate them, and we're a proud parent when we see that they made these plans and walk in with that planner. Absolutely.
Yes. And what is important to you to leave for your family?
I just want peace of mind for them, that, like the story I said in the beginning about being a burden. I don't want to be a burden. I have my property. Funerals next, and that's the lesser of the cost of the two. So I wanted to price protect by getting my property now. I don't want to pay the inflation five years from now. So to me, it was important to do the cemetery first and then go into the funeral arrangements. But I have at least jotted down that I want cremation, and I want them to be able to have a memorial service. And I also put in my planner that I am leaving the flexibility of what they would like to see happen, because honestly, funerals, cemetery property, it's for the living, it's not for the dead. It's how we want to remember and grieve for them. So that's what's important to me.
Yes. And like, I even talk to families, we don't want cemetery. We just want to scatter our ashes. Well, it's still good to have this legacy planner.
Absolutely, because then you can write that in there. And us as a cemetery can also get you in connection with, the chargers or the people who can make that happen for you, so that you know at least where they were scattered.
Right.
Please don't just go scatter loved ones anywhere. There are specific places in national parks that you can get the permit to do in a lovely place that still honors their wishes. But this planner is no cost and a great first step as a parent to start to fill out for your family and have ready for them.
So, a recap of what we were talking about earlier, we buy life insurance really for our children, not for ourselves. We do it to protect our kids so they can continue to live the lifestyle they're living. We don't want for them to carry that weight of any.
Well, right. Like you just said, we do it for them. We don't do it for ourselves. And pre-planning a cemetery and a funeral is no different. I guess, so to kind of wrap things up. So if you've ever thought, I'm going to get around to it one day, let today be that day. Tomorrow's not promised. Even a simple conversation about your wishes is a gift. But taking the extra step and making the cemetery reservation and putting funeral plans in place, now that is doing better for your kids. Because at the end of the day, love isn't just what we say, it's what we prepare for. And pre-planning is one of the greatest acts, I feel, that you can leave and show your love to your family that's left behind.
Yes, and the best way, I'm going to wrap up what the legacy planner is in a nutshell.
Yes.
It helps define your wishes today to ensure your life is honored in the way you want it to be honored. And of course, your children want to honor you.
Yes.
In that way. It gives your family space, meaning it will answer the 125 questions that are asked when planning a funeral.
If it's only 125.
Right. And they say 60% of families who pre-plan, prepaid, and they avoid the rising costs.
Yeah, that
locks
inflation that nobody wants to pay.
And also, obviously, provides peace of mind and that emotional stress. It avoids disagreements.
It does. It avoids disagreements. And I think that it's great to just emphasize again that really this planner and our expertise and help in walking your family through, it's what should inspire you to plan ahead. And we thank you for listening to us today.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to Journey Home Radio. We look forward to talking with you again next Saturday at noon right here on K-Praise.